Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mahabhagavad Srila Gaura Kishore Das Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Shri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Vaishnava Sarvabhaum Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Charya Baladev Vijayabusan Prabhu ki jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Shri Narottam Srinivasyamananda Prabhu Trai ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Vata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Vata Das Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Srila Swarup Damodar Roy Ramananda Adi Gaur Parsada Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Navadvip Dham ki jai. Shri Navadvip Dham Parikrama ki jai. Shri Antaradvip Mayapur Simantadvip Bodhandvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Paritadvip Janadvip Moda Drumadvip Rudadit Atmaka Shri Navadvip Dham ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dvarashavanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dham ki jai. Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Radha Govind Radha Gopinath Radha Madan Mohan Jiyo ki jai. Shri Radha Gokulananda Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Raman Radha Damodar Jiyo ki jai. Srimati Lalita Vishaka Adi Ashta Sakhi Vrinda ki jai. Shri Rupa Manjari Rati Manjari Adi Manjari Vrinda ki jai. Srimati Vrinda Devi ki jai. Srimati Purnavasi Yoga Maya Devi ki jai. Shri Gopishwar Mahadeva ki jai. Sarva Vishta Pradata Giriraj Govardhana ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Jil ki jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Purushottam Kshetra Dham ki jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shri Nrsimha Dev ki jai. Bhakta Pravarshi Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Charodam Charo Sampradaya Charo Acharya ki jai. Akaramat Raj Shri Chaitanya Mat ki jai. Or Ananya Shakamat Samuha ki jai. Shri Vishva Vaishnav Raj Sabha ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Tri Bhuvana Pavana Harinama Sankirtana ki jai. Tri Bhuvana Mangala Harinama Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Sachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai. Shri Nityananda Mahajana ki jai. Shri Pancha Tattva ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langaiti Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Mande Shri Gurun Dinataram. Yasya Prasada the Bhagavat Prasado Yasya Prasada Navati Kutopi Dhyayam Stuvam Stasya Yashashti Sandhya Vande Guru Sri Charanaravinda Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gaura Chise Namaha. Nityanandam namastubhyam premananda pradayane kalo kalmashanashaya janavadai namaha Panchatattvatmakam krishnam bhakta rupa swarupakam Bhaktavataram bhaktakyam namami bhakta shaktikam He Krishna karuna sindho dinabandho jagatpate Gopesha gopika kanta radha kanta namostute Tapta kanchana gaurangi radhe vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu sute devi pranamami hari priye Vrindai tulsi devyai priyai keshavasya cha Krishna bhakti prade devi satyavachai namo namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Go Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev, who brought Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental message to the entire world, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs. Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. My unlimited Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga. My Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis. So, that happy day is coming very near. What is that happy day? Shri Gaur Purnima. Actually, Gaur Purnima is the biggest celebration in the universe. Did you know that? Yes. Why is Gaur Purnima such a happy day? Because Gaura, the combined form of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna, they descended in Sri Mayapur Navadvip Dham, 530 something, 35 years before, and inaugurated the Sankirtan movement for the benefit of all jivas, not just human society, all jivas, throughout the entire universe. This is the ultimate celebration. And that self-same Krishna who appeared 5,000 years ago to distribute his sweet pastimes, because Sri Krishna is called Leela Purushottama. His Leelas are the ultimate manifestation of Godhead and are attractive to all the living entities. And that same sweetness, that same personality has appeared along with his internal potency combined together in one form to distribute prema. So therefore, that form of Gaura is called Prem Purushottama. Yes. Prem Purushottama, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the giver of prema, highest prema. We're going to now begin to read Srila Gurudev's book. Actually, it's Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book that he wrote. Gurudev, his presentation, his translation of that book, called Sri Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. You know what Mahatmya means? The glories. The glories of Sri Navadvip Dham. How glorious is that place? In the preface to this book, Srila Gurudev is writing a very beautiful presentation about how this Dham of Navadvip Dham and Sri Vrindavan Braja Dham are identical abodes. But yet, in this Dham, there is an added feature, which is more prominent. And what is that called? Audarya. Audarya. What does Audarya mean? Yes, magnanimity, generosity. It is overflowing in Navadvip Dham. So, what can I say? We have to hear now from those who have realized these Dhams.
Do you want me to take that lamp off so you have more space?
No. No. I like it there. Very reassuring. Okay. This is actually the introduction, translated from the Hindi edition. And this introduction is written by Gurudev in 1992, Gaur Purnima, 6 years before he came to the West. Yes. So, Shyama Sundara Sri Krishna, the son of the king of Braja, is the ultimate limit of the absolute truth. If we can just understand this one sentence, that Shyama Sundar, that person who is Sri Krishna, and he is the son of the king of Braj, Nanda Maharaj, he is the ultimate limit of the absolute truth. Absolute truth is very broad. Within the context of that absolute truth, he is the ultimate limit. How? Because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, and the origin of everything. He himself is without origin. Who told this? Yes. Can you say? Yeah. Mike. Give the mic. Come on. Give the mic. It's there. Now you have to tell the hello. The meaning of each word or a sentence. It's not hard.
Ishvara Parama Krishna. That Krishna is the supreme controller. Ishvara.
Yes.
Ishvara Parama Krishna. Satchidananda Vigraha. His body, his form is made of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Anadir Adir Govinda. Anadir Adir is he's the origin of all and he has no other origin.
Yes.
Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He's the controller.
Karana. What is the meaning of Karana? Cause.
Cause. Oh, and he's the cause
Sarva,
of all causes.
Karana. That's what Gurudev just told. He is the origin of everything. He is the cause of everything. Everyone is searching for this knowledge. What are all the scientists ultimately tampering about with all their experimentation and research and everything, Ultimately, they're trying to figure out, where does it all come from? Who put it here? Why are there so many millions of species of life? How come the sun rises and sets on time every single day for billions and trillions of years? They're trying to understand, ultimately, what is the supreme cause. But because a lot of them are in the category of atheists, they're trying to disprove that the supreme cause is, first of all, a conscious living entity. And secondly, an actual person. Okay? But they're trying to prove that the cause of everything is just a swirling mass of chemical gases. I bet KK has heard this in her venture into the world of the educated. Did you actually hear them in any of your science classes and stuff?
I mean, I pretty much was able to avoid all those kinds of classes.
Oh, really?
Good for you.
Oh,
I took things
okay.
like physics instead.
Okay. You took physics?
I mean, I mostly stayed away from science classes that were specifically about these topics.
Right, okay.
Because I was like, I don't need you.
Yeah.
You'd almost think that their searching for these things would make them religious.
Sometimes it happens, but do you know that there are 4 types of pious persons that Krishna says in the Gita? And there are 4 types of duskritina. Impious. They have no sukriti from previous lives. What are those 4? Namam duskritino mudha. Mudha is on the lowest scale of demoniac tendency. But they're fools. Mudha. Mudha. Just dull brain. Foolish. Second one, prapadyante naradhama. Lowest amongst mankind. Lowest amongst the nara, the human society. The third category, mayaya apahrita jnana. This is the one. Mayaya apahrita means Maya has taken away, stolen away their jnana, their knowledge. And in the final limit of the demoniac tendency, who never ever surrender to Krishna, because Krishna is telling in this verse, these duskritina, they do not do prapadya to me. They do not surrender to me. And the final one is called asura bhavam ashrita. Ashrita means to take shelter of. And what are they taking shelter of? Asura bhav. The demoniac nature. The nature of demon. So each one of those 4 are progressively worse. So what was the point that you made? That maybe in their attempt to search, then what?
I thought maybe they would make them religious, searching for all this.
No, this is the problem, and you should understand this because Prabhupada went to battle with the whole scientific community. He literally went onto the battlefield with his more than sword. Actually, he had an arsenal of nuclear weapons. Just like Arjuna could shoot nuclear weapons with his bow. Okay. So Prabhupada went to war with the whole scientific community, and he called their bluff. They said, "Oh, rascals, fools and rascals, demoniac. atheist. And that's what Krishna says. They're posing as knowledgeable. We see that nowadays, especially. So many cheating rascals in the scientific community posing themselves as very learned. We have to follow the science, you know. But in actuality, all they're doing is they're cheating. That's what it's all about. Science, modern science, is all about cheating, and Prabhupada told that. He said, oh yes, the scientists are saying we will create life in our test tubes. In our laboratory, we will create life. Have they done it? No. Are they even close? No. If you hear from the highly learned, pious scientists, they'll also reveal the cheating that's going on. And they'll reveal exactly how they're lying and cheating and trying to present that they've made something on the level of RNA or DNA or these and this protein and that protein. But in actuality, they haven't done anything at all as far as creating life. But they bluff everybody. Prabhupada told that. Bluffing, simply bluffing. And they're saying, oh yes, just give us some time. We just need some more time for research, you know. But in the meantime, you should believe us. But Prabhupada said, no, we won't believe you. You cannot give us a post-dated check, which is absolutely valueless, and expect that we're going to give you, you know, our belief. Post-dated check means you haven't got it. Means you don't have it in your bank account. You've post-dated. So sorry, we will not accept your post-dated check. So here's the thing. Here in the beginning of this book is the most important statements that everybody on the planet should hear. In the human body, they should hear this. That he is the absolute truth. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the cause of all causes, and he is the origin of everything, though he himself is without origin. That's their whole big problem. How can there be a person who is always existing, from whom everything came? Well, Mr. Scientist, you're trying to tell us that there were swirling gases that were always existing. Because you say that the origin of everything is a big, huge bang. Right? Isn't that what they say? The origin of everything is a big, huge explosion. Big bang. But where did the gases come from? Where did it come from? You have no explanation. Nothing. So this is atheism. And it's like Buddhism. Everything is nothing. Everything comes from nothing. Everything ultimately merges into nothing. Nirvana. That means non-existence. Nirvana. So, he is the personification of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. He possesses all potencies, and he is the most merciful. He fully embodies and relishes all transcendental mellows. That means Akhil Rasamrita Murti, the origin of all rasa. He is the embodiment of rasa. This same Sri Krishna, who performs pastimes filled with sweetness, he displays the highest degree of magnanimity as Sri Gaur Sundar. He who freely bestows transcendental love, that is Sri Gaur Sundar. Thus, Sri Krishna and Sri Gaur Sundar They comprise an identical spiritual principle, tattva. Identical. Thus, Sri Krishna's abode, Sri Vrindavan Dham, is similarly identical in all respects to Sri Gaur Sundar's abode, Sri Navadvip Dham. The perimeter of both is approximately 32 miles, 16 kosas. The Vedic scriptures reveal that Sri Gaur Sundar's pastimes are the sequel to Krishna's pastimes. And that's the only movie you have to know about. You don't have to worry about any other movie or sequel. Just put them all in the trash bin. This is it. This is the ultimate. So, in Vraja, Sri Krishna relishes the mellows of transcendental love. And in Sri Navadvip Dham, he distributes them. What does he do in Braja? And what does he do in Navadvip? Yes. That devotee who performs his devotional practices aspiring for the transcendental mellows of Braj, he can easily attain this Braj Prem by taking exclusive shelter of Sri Gaur Sundar and his dear associates in Sri Navadvip Dham. Is that not a hopeful statement? We want to become a devotee like that. We want to become a devotee who performs his devotional practices aspiring for the transcendental mellows of Braja. That's what we want to become. That we are doing our devotional practices with this aspiration overflowing in our heart at all times. I want to attain service to Radha and Krishna in Braj, tasting all these transcendental Braj mellows of Braj Prem, Prem Ras. So, that devotee who wants to attain that, he can easily attain this. But I thought that that's the most difficult thing to attain. No. He can easily attain this Braja Prem by doing what? Taking exclusive shelter of Sri Gaur Sundar and his dear associates in Sri Navadvip Dham. Why? Because there, the offenses are not considered. This is a very important point. Aparad, offenses, they are not considered in Navadvip Dham. Because if they are, then how will someone attain? If offenses are considered, then how will it be possible to attain that Braja Prem? No, it will disqualify you. But in Navadvip Dham, not considered. Hence, the glories of both Navadvip Dham and Vrindavan Dham, both of these dhams, the glories defy description. Absolutely defy even description. So Devarshi Narada, that level of personality, Narada Muni, Sri Uddhava, and also other exalted saints, they possess a very high caliber of praying, do they not? Is Uddhava not on a very high level of praying? Narada Muni and so many other great saints. But still, even though they aspire to acquire this rarely attained Braja Prem. This is a fact. Sri Gaur Sundar's abode easily bestows this prem to sadhaks who take its shelter. So, what should we do upon hearing this? Upon hearing this, what we just heard, what should we do?
Take shelter of Srimad.
And yes, in Navadvipadam. Yes. In conclusion, Sri Navadvipadam is as supremely magnanimous as Sri Gaur Sundar himself. That's why I want to go to Navadvipadam. Huh? Yala Prabhu? Yeah? Is that a good reason for wanting to go to Navadvipadam?
Say it again.
That in Navadvipadam, the abode of Sri Gaur Sundar, this Braja Prem, which is rarely attained, it is bestowed to the sadhakas who take shelter of Navadvipadam. Yes, it is bestowed. Now, Navadvipadam. Let's hear about this Navadvipadam. Navadvipadam consists of 9 islands. You know this name, Navadvip, has 2 words, Nava and Dvipa. What does Nava mean? 9. And what is Dvipa? It means island. There are 9 islands, Navadvip. There's also a very beautiful verse written by, I think, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, where he's also referring to, because the word Nava also means new, Nava. So he wrote a whole verse describing how this Dham, this Navadvip Dham, is also new and fresh in so many different ways. A new kind of prem. New. But really, it means 9, and we're going to hear about that. So, Navadvip Dham consists of 9 islands. Everyone repeat after me. Antardvip, Simantadvip, Godrumadvip, Madhyadvip, Koladvip, Ritudvip, Janudvip, Modadrumadvip, and Rudradvip. Furthermore, Sri Navadvip Dham is the abode of the 9 types of devotional service. 9 limbs of bhakti. So, now Gurudev is telling us that the first island, named what? Antardvip, is representing Atmanivedanam. Everyone say Atmanivedanam. Antardvip, self-surrender. Simantadvip, hearing. Godrumadvip, chanting. Madhyadvip, remembering. Koladvip, serving the Lord's lotus feet. Ritudvip, worshipping. Janudvip, offering prayers. Modadrumadvip, engaging as a servant, and Rudradvip, serving as a friend. So everyone repeat after me. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Smaranam Padasevanam. Archanam Dasyam Sakyam. Wait. No. Wait. Padasevanam. Archanam Das. Archanam Vandanam. Okay. Archanam Vandanam Dasyam. Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. Sri Gaur Sundar. What does Gaur Sundar mean? Gaur Sundar. The beautiful golden personality. Gaur Sundar. Why is he golden?
Because he's taken the complexion of Srimad.
Yes. He's not anymore, to our eyes, what? Sham Sundar. There's a verse by Jiva Goswami. Antar Krishna Bahir Gauram. Antar Krishna Bahir Gauram. This verse is saying, internally, Antar, he is Krishna. But Bahir, externally, he is Gaura. He is Krishna completely covered by Gaura. Srimati Radhika's bhav and her kanti, her moods and her transcendental golden complexion. So, Sri Gaur Sundar and his intimate associates enacted their pastimes throughout Navadvip Dham. Gaur Sundar, he also performed pastimes in Sri Gaur Mandala, the area surrounding and including Navadvip Dham, where many of his associates appeared, performed their pastimes, and practiced their bhajan. So there's Navadvip Dham. There's actually a map that's in the book. There's Navadvip Dham, like a lotus flower, in the middle of Gaura Mandala, okay? So in Navadvip Dham, there is the 8-petaled lotus, and in the center of the whorl, that is Antardvip, okay? Then there's 8 petals surrounding, so total 9. And Gaura Mandala is a much bigger area. And there's a footnote which explains that just like when we say Brindavan, we're actually also referring to not only, like nowadays, the small little town of Vrindavan, but we're referring to the entire area of Govardhan, Vrindavan, Nandagaon, Varshana, and all of that. That's Vrindavan. And that is the center of the whorl of Vraj Mandala. So Braj Mandala and Gaura Mandala, same size, like that. So many of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates took birth in the outlying areas. Not all took birth in Navadvip, so many, even Lord Nityananda. Even outside of Gaura Mandala, he took a birth. Why? To purify those places. Yes, that's why. So therefore, Gaur Sundar also performed pastimes in the greater Gaur Mandala area, because so many of his associates, they appeared and they performed their pastimes there and they practiced their bhajan. So to this day, the places mentioned in this book, they serve to generate memories of the Lord's pastimes. These pastimes are eternal, as confirmed in the Bhakti Ratnakara. Here's the verse. These pastimes are eternal. That means that if someone is on that level of qualification to see those pastimes, they will see them. Jagannath Das Babaji saw them. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji saw them. Bhaktivinoda Thakur saw them. That's how he's writing this book, because he saw them. So here's the praman. How do we know that these pastimes are eternal? Because Bhakti Ratnakara is saying, Adyapiha se lila kore goranga, kono kono bhagyavan deki bari pai. Sorry. Adyapiha se lila kore gorarai. Gorarai. Even today, Sri Gaur Sundar performs pastimes here with his associates. But only an exceedingly fortunate living entity can behold them. We want to become that exceedingly fortunate living entity. Do we not? Or do we have other aspirations that we want to attain before that? Huh? You have so many great aspirations. I think probably it would be good to go for a few million years to the heavenly planets first. I think that's more suitable for me. No, that means you're not fortunate. Only the fortunate living entities who are exceedingly fortunate, kono kono bhagyavan, deki bare pai, they can see them. The jiva's life becomes successful by circumambulating Sri Navadvip Dham, where the Lord's most munificent pastimes are enacted. Moreover, if he does so while chanting the holy name and hearing Harikatha, he receives unlimited benefit. That's why I want to go there. But you have to get the sanction. It hasn't come this year, not yet. But I'm hoping it will come at some point. Until then, we're going to do this Katha, and we're going to do in our minds and in our hearts and in our sadhan bhajan that parikrama. Are you ready to go on Navadvip Dham parikrama? Yeah. Gaur Premanande! Yes. Srila Jiva Goswami, now we're talking about the parikrama. That happened there. That Bhaktivinoda Thakur envisioned and wrote it down for us, of Nityananda Prabhu personally bringing Jiva Goswami on foot to the 9 islands of Navadvip Dham and revealing what took place in those 9 islands of Navadvip Dham. Can there be any more fortunate parikrama than this one? How is it that Jiva Goswami was able to attain such a good fortune? By the Dham Ishwara himself. Do you know that that is Lord Nityananda's position? He is the Ishwara of Navadvip Dham. So, Srila Jiva Goswami, he was still a youth when Mahaprabhu, Sri Gaur Sundar, entered his unlimited pastimes. He was still a youth then. So soon after, he renounced material life. Very auspicious. This sound, very auspicious. Huh? You know, we were I'm just taking a slight aside about storms. I don't know if any of you were there, but in 2005, this massive storm came, lifted up this huge, gigantic bamboo structure that would, because the temple wasn't built then, lifted it up high into the air And then it came down. But Mahaprabhu made it come down very slowly so that all the devotees could see that it's coming down. And these gigantic bamboos, they were able to avoid them as it came down to the ground. Only one lady, I think it was, only one old lady, you were there? Yeah, only she left her body. What good fortune to leave your body in Navadvip Dham at that time. Huh? So, Gurudev said, in all of my years of doing Navadvip Parikrama, I have not seen such a storm like that. He says, very, very auspicious sign. Yes. Now, so, soon after, Jiva Goswami, who was still a youth when Mahaprabhu entered into his aprakat lila, his unmanifest pastimes, soon after, then Jiva Goswami renounced material life. And he came to Sri Dham Mayapur. In the house of Mahaprabhu, Sri Jiva Goswami received the priceless mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who later guided him on Navadvip Dham's 32-mile parikrama. Yeah?
Whose house was it? Advaita Prabhu?
No, in the house of Mahaprabhu.
In the house of Mahaprabhu.
In the house of Mahaprabhu. Jagannath Mishra Bhavan. But Mahaprabhu had already left the world at that time. So Jiva Goswami received the priceless mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who later guided him on Navadvip Dham's 32-mile parikrama, elaborating on Sriman Mahaprabhu's pastimes in each and every place. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's deeply moving descriptions of this parikrama are recorded in Sri Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. There's a section of that book called Parikrama Kanda. It's all here in this book of Gurudev's. Now, years later, Sri Ishan Thakur, an associate of Sriman Mahaprabhu. Who was Ishan Thakur? Personal servant of Jagannath Mishra in his house, Ishan. So, that Ishan Thakur, an associate of Sriman Mahaprabhu, he took Srinivasacharya, Narottam Thakur, and Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj on parikrama of the Sri Navadvip Dham. Years later, many years later. Not too many, but... And then in Srila Narahari Chakravarti, in his book, in his book Bhakti Ratnakara, so he gives a captivating description of this parikrama in his Bhakti Ratnakara, and he gives a concise yet heart-rending description. It is found in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book, Sri Navadvip Bhava Taranga. It's actually a separate book. ISKCON printed it combined together. And that is the book where Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's telling about his own parikrama and how each and every island, so many things were revealed. And in recent times, our grand spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Ashtatarasata, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, he inaugurated Sri Navadvip Dham Parikrama, and he executed it according to the section on Parikrama in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book, Sri Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. He performed the Parikrama with thousands of pilgrims to bestow this auspicious opportunity upon the wider community. And following in his footsteps our spiritual master Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Padash Tatarashata Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj performed this parikrama annually, as do those devotees who have taken shelter of him. Annually, for the last 45 years, this worthless and insignificant servant has also had the opportunity to participate in Sri Navadvip Dham Parikrama. For many years, I performed it with my spiritual master, and in this way, received several opportunities to hear narrations of pastimes and philosophical conclusions from his lotus mouth. Later, when he had entered his unmanifested pastimes, I performed parikrama under the guidance of his Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. So this book is based on those narrations, on information taken from Bhakti Ratnakara, and in particular on Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Sri Navadvip Dham Mahatmya and his Navadvip Bhava Taranga. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Prem Dharma, his eternal religion of pure transcendental loving service to Sri Krishna, is being extensively propagated all over the world, and consequently, countless pilgrims from India and abroad come to take darshan of Sriman Mahaprabhu's appearance place, Sri Dham Mayapur, his various pastime places in Navadvip Dham, and the appearance and pastime places of his associates. I hope this book will assist all inquisitive devotees. My most worshipful Gurudev, the crest jewel of topmost swan-like Vaishnavas, Om Vishnu Padashtatarasata Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami, is the guardian of the Sri Gaudiya Sampradaya and the founder Acharya of the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti and the Gaudiya Mats throughout India under its jurisdiction. He established Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat in Mathura Dham to preach.
I'm very sorry. I don't know how much longer it is, but
It's only, I just wanted to finish, it's the introduction, and today is the first day that we're doing it. It's only going to take less than 5 minutes.
okay, no problem. I mean, I can do the arti behind the curtain.
No. It's going to take less than 5
No
minutes.
problem. It's just like if it's going like every night, 5 more minutes, and it's just. Sorry for that, Maharaj, really, but.
It's not going to do that. I'm going to,
No problem.
just only because we're reading this particular introduction, I don't want to leave it hanging. It's only 2 more paragraphs.
Yeah.
It's not long. He established Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat in Mathura Dham to preach Srimad Mahaprabhu's Prem Dharma amongst, he established to preach Mahaprabhu's Prem Dharma amongst the Hindi-speaking population. His causeless mercy and inspiration has led to much devotional literature being translated from Bengali into Hindi, and this translating work continues to this day. It is a great pleasure to present this book to the reader today on behalf of my Gurudev. Finally, I must mention that this book was produced very quickly through the enthusiasm, generosity, and the affectionate support of the present chairman and acharya of Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, my godbrother, Paribrajak Acharya, Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Maharaj. I am indebted to him. May he offer this book into the lotus hands of our most beloved Gurudev and thus bestow his affection upon me. This is our prayer at his lotus feet. And then he's giving blessings to various devotees who helped with the book. And then he says, may intelligent readers delight us by correcting whatever errors they find in the course of their reading. Praying for a particle of mercy of Sri Hari Guru and Vaishnavas, Sri Bhakti Vedanta Narayan, Sri Gaur Purnima 1992, Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat, Mathura. Shri Navaditam Mahatmya ki jai, Shri Navaditam Parikrama ki jai, Parikrama Kori Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Mansato Durvascha Kripa Sindhu Vaja Patitanam